Next week's presidential election in the U.S. is set to impact the Korean Peninsula significantly, as it comes at a time of escalating tensions in the region, with North Korea's deployment of troops to Russia, followed by the regime's launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile. For more on this, we have our foreign affairs correspondent Benji here in the studio. Welcome, Benji.
Thanks for having me.
So the two candidates have starkly different approaches to how to handle with North Korea. Tell us more about that.
That's right. Trump has been saying that getting along with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is a good thing, while Harris aims to focus on cooperation with allies and partners to address nuclear threats from North Korea. Take a listen.
Look, I had a very good relationship with President Xi, and a very good relationship with Putin, and a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, who is a nuclear force that you won't even believe.
And I will stand with our friends because I know that our alliances keep American people safe and make America stronger and more secure. Look, world leaders think that Donald Trump is an easy mark, easy to manipulate with flattery or favor. And you can believe that autocrats like Putin and Kim Jong-un are rooting for him in this election.
So they have notably different views on how to handle North Korea. Experts suggest that if Harris wins, we will see the new administration put more effort into strengthening relations with South Korea, which is especially crucial at a time when North Korea has deployed troops to help Russia's war with Ukraine.
So I think we're going to expect to see that further continue under a Harris administration. But I think they're really going to be working towards how to optimize the Rock-US alliance to deal with this unprecedented challenge by North Korea in Russia and their collaboration.
On the other hand, Dr. Lee says Trump's North Korea policies may depend on how Kim Jong-un and his regime approach the new administration.
It really depends on whether Kim Jong-un approaches him with flattery or with fire and fury and more nuclear threats. So I think that will really depend, but that will shape and take place within what Russia and China are already doing. So it's not going to be happening in a vacuum.
But both the Democratic and Republican parties have removed the term CVID, or Complete, Verifiable, Irreversible Denuclearization, in their new policy platforms. While it is too early to say that this fully reflects the new administration's policies, it raised speculations that the U.S. government may be shifting priorities away from North Korea.
About a month ago, the two countries agreed on how to share the cost needed for American troops stationed here in South Korea. Now, depending on who wins the election, is there a possibility that the next administration will, try to renegotiate?
There definitely is. As you said, a deal was finally reached in early October after 5 months of negotiation on determining how much South Korea will pay for the roughly 28,500 U.S. troops in the country. South Korea's contributions in the first year of the agreement, 2026, will be some $1.14 billion US dollars, an increase of around 8% compared to the previous year. After that, the cost will gradually increase over the next 5 years based on the Consumer Price Index to reflect inflation. Harris will likely stick to the agreement, but Trump has recently hinted at an attempt to renegotiate the deal, saying Washington cannot be taken advantage of any longer in military and trade. He's been insisting that Seoul should be paying $10 billion a year for the stationing of the American troops, describing South Korea as a money machine.
So, I think that we could definitely see an attempt to renegotiate the special measures agreement. That could cause alliance friction. I think that we could see a Trump administration attempt to try to repurpose the USFK, so the U.S. Forces Korea, to be postured more flexibly to deal with regional contingencies. And by that, one mostly understands a potential problem.
Now, even during his presidency, Trump was known to have called for a 5-fold increase in South Korea's contributions to maintaining the American troops. So there is a possibility that he will seek to sign a new agreement on this issue if he takes office again.
And ahead of the election, North Korea launched an ICBM launch. Now, can we say this was a well-planned one?
Definitely. What the North launched on Thursday morning was a missile that could put the entire United States within striking range. So some say the launch was aimed at threatening the U.S. and gaining bargaining power ahead of the election, while others say it's to boast that the North continues to maintain its defense readiness even after sending troops to Russia. Take a listen.
The focus on this provocation was more on showing that North Korea is maintaining its defense posture even after the dispatch of troops to Russia, rather than the US presidential election. It's showing that it has sufficient nuclear power to maintain deterrence despite the dispatch of troops.
Likewise, the North appears to have embedded several strategic aims behind its latest missile launch.
Already, we'll have to see how the situation turns out. Thank you for the report today, Eunji.
My pleasure.